whenever we are trying to route the data from database table to database table, we have many options. Okay, so like the first option is like if you don't have any kind of data manipulation things. Okay, data manipulation means like from source table, like you are getting 4 columns. Okay, from source table you are getting 4 columns, and to the target table, in the target table, like you are having 4 columns. Okay, if we straight loading, let us say if we take employee table. Okay, the sample example, employee table, in that, like you will have employee id, employee name, employee salary, and employee join date. Some more columns we will have. Okay, so in this case, if you don't want to do any kind of manipulation, summing, okay, multiplication the columns, or else multiplication the not columns data. Okay, multiplication the columns data or summing the columns data, if you don't have any operation like that, you can straight away load that. That means table to table, just dumping. Okay, no manipulations or no transformations or no business logics in that. Like in some cases, like we will have a business logics. Okay, so do some operation on top of a particular column. Okay, and load the final data into data warehouse table or else database table. Okay, maybe any database or any data warehouse table. So what we do for that? Like for that, like we have a transformations. Okay, transformations. So using transformations, we will manipulate data. Okay, or else in the exact term is aggregation. Okay, it might be sum, multiplication, division, whatever the mathematical operation it may be. Okay, we will do some aggregation. Or else, like generally the records, the transactional records, as we discussed in earlier class, the transactional records in the sense, like if we have any sales business, the record will be like a date, product, quantity, okay, price, okay, discount, actual cost, actual price. This might be selling price. Okay, selling price may different with the actual price. Okay, and some more information you will have. So the record, the transactional record will be like this. For each and every day, for each and every transaction, we will get the records like that for each and every product. So while moving into the data warehouse, we will aggregate. That means we will consolidate all the information. How to consolidate? How we are going to consolidate in the sense, like monthly, for a month consolidation, like for day consolidation in the sense, for each and every transaction we will have one record, right? So in per a day, like you may get like around 10,000 records, 10,000 transactions. Okay, for each and every transaction we will get total sales amount for each and every transaction. That means 10,000 records in the sense, like 10,000 customer came into my store and they purchased something. Okay, for each and every customer, the total sales amount will be something like some amount. Okay, so end of the day, what is the total amount? What is the total sales amount on this particular day? So that means like we are consolidating all the sales amount in day range, okay, in day wise. Similarly, what is the total sales amount per a week? That means we are aggregating the data in a week range. Okay, similarly, monthly, per a month, what is the total sales amount? Similarly, quarterly, similarly, yearly. So likewise, we will consolidate the data as per the date dimensions. Okay, in some cases, like what is the total sales amount in this particular day for this particular product. That means we are consolidating the data in two different directions. One is in date and another one is in product. What is the total consolidated amount for this particular week for a particular product? Okay, likewise we will do some operations to consolidate the data, which is nothing but the aggregating the values. Okay, this is quantity. We will aggregate the values and we will save the data. So to do all kind of things we use transformations. So let me connect to our solution. So we have created our solution, right? So I kept that solution in E drive. So to open that solution, you can go directly to your solution. I think this might be your solution, sample 29th June. Let me open. So here you can see, saving in the sense like whenever you create a project, whenever you create a solution in the beginning, so once you specify the location, please create that particular project in that particular location. Okay, so once you specify that location, so it will create a folder like this. Okay, so it will create a folder like this, and inside of the folder it will create one solution with the name, whatever the name you have given. With the name it will create one solution. Okay, so here the type of the icon, what is the type of the icon? So this is Microsoft Visual Studio solution. Okay, double click on that. It will open the project like this for you. Okay, so whatever the project that you are having, it will open the project like this. Okay, and inside of the project, inside of the solution, you will have project, right? So in the project, like we will have a packages. Okay, packages, whatever the packages that you are having, you will have all those packages. So the second option, like how to open the package, means just close this one. It's not closing, some issue with the SSIS. Let me close like this. Okay, so to open a solution, straight away you can go to the folder. Inside of the folder you can see one folder and one solution. Okay, don't go for the folder right now. So whatever the solution you are able to see, Visual Studio solution, double click on double click on that. So once you double click on that, it will automatically take you to that particular environment. Okay, so that is what the one option. The second option will be straight away go to data tools, click on the data tools. So it will open an empty window which is not having any project, okay, or else any solution. So from here you can pick your solution. So file, go to new, and then pick your project. Sorry, not new, which is already having, right? You are going to open, file, open, and then project or solution. Click on that. So here pick that path where your solution is existed. This is what my solution. Open that, select this solution and open. Okay, two ways you can open. So in that, like, you are able to see the packages, right? So package 1, package dot dtsx, like this is not a proper naming convention. Why? Because if you look at the packages, what these packages are doing, we don't know. So to know about this thing, you need to open the package, and then only you will come to know in this package nothing is there, in this package something we are loading. Okay, so instead of having the name like this, you need to give a proper name. Remember that in data warehousing or else in anything that you are working, okay, so whatever the database objects or else whatever the SSIS objects, SSAS or else SSRS, anything, whatever the stream it might be. So whenever you are creating something, please give a proper names. Okay, so otherwise, like it will be pretty much difficult to understand by others, and even sometimes For you also it's pretty much difficult. So give a proper name. In this package, what you are doing, you are trying to load some table, right? So I will give a name like load employee 29 June. So if you give the name like that, then assume like these packages are not open as of now. So once you look at this, by seeing that package, you can say like here this particular table is loading. Okay, so in real time you will have a number of packages, 20-30 packages in real time. Okay, many more, not 20-30. There is no the limitation of packages. You will have n number of packages. So in that, if you open the package and you are facing any issue, any kind of issue with any table loading, so you have to look at the particular table loading package where this particular table is loading exactly. If you want to know like that, you need to check all the package, open the package and look into each and every package. Instead, if you have a proper naming convention, by looking at the table, I mean like package name itself, you will come to know, yes, this package, this table is loading in this particular package. Okay, so likewise you will come to know easily. Then you can open that particular package and you can figure out the issue as early as possible. Okay, which won't take much time. So in this particular package, here you are loading table to table. You are doing a table to table. Instead of that, you haven't done any operation. Okay, straight away dump loading from here to here. And here you are having two connections. Okay, so in these two connections, for these two connections also, like you need to have a proper naming convention, and you need to check whether the connections have been configured properly or not. Okay, so at the time of giving connections, to selecting the proper database and proper server name is the mandatory thing. Okay, so this will change the entire project execution. Okay, I told you, right? So we'll in real time we will have a development, testing and production. Okay, so in that, like, we will have many servers. If you are not selecting a proper server name, okay, then the table will proper server name, then once you load the data, it will load into some other server. Okay, some other environment. Instead, like, you thought of loading the data into test environment, but unfortunately it's been loaded into dev environment. Okay, so whenever you are doing any other operation on top of the destination table, like creating the report, or else whatever the operation it might be in the next operations, you won't find the data, even though you have loaded the data, but you won't find the data. Why? Because you are checking in this particular environment and the data is loaded into this particular environment. Okay, so in some cases, if you are unable to figure out the issue as ASAP, as early as possible, okay, it will causes many issues. Okay, so in that case, whenever you are creating the connections, you need to keep in mind which server I am selecting. I am selecting proper server or not, and I am selecting proper database or not. Okay, these two things are mandatory things, and these two things are, keep in mind when you are creating. So coming to here you are having one source and one target. Okay, you are having one source and one target. But in my business, okay, so in my business I have multiple branches. Okay, Walmart business is having multiple branches. So for each and every branch, I am using one source. Okay, so this is belongs to one source. Okay, and from this particular source I am getting one source table. I have nearly 20 branches. For each and every branch I am having one table. Okay, so in that case I want to load the data from all the branches at a time. Okay, all the branches into one data warehousing table. Okay, multiple sources. Multiple sources in the sense branch 1 data, branch 2 data, branch 3 data. Similarly, I have branch 20 branches data. So I want to load all the data into one destination. Okay, how to load? Here we are taking the data from only single source. If it is the case, if the scenario like what we are seeing is 20 branches, or else like multiple branches you are having, how to load the data from multiple branches into a single destination. So for that purpose, for each and every branch, you need to take, assume like this is branch 1. Okay, branch 1 employee table. You need to take, let us say I have two branches. Okay, so I will take one more source connection and take branch 2. I'll rename it as branch 2 employee. Okay, so I assume like this is on the sample database slide. So I will copy the connection. So for this I will give the name as source branch 1. For this I will give the name as source branch 2. Okay, so now I will configure this branch 2. So I will pick the table from my branch 2, click on OK, and what is my table? It is employee table, columns. So what are the columns that I have? I'm getting from here all the columns. Okay, even from here also I will take all the columns. Now the second thing what you need to do, to target table you have to get the connection like this, like how you did for employee one, I mean branch one employee. So take the connection and place it here. See, it is throwing the error. What is the error means, like destination table. Okay, whatever the destination you are having, the destination component, the target component will accept only one input at a time. Okay, since you are getting, you have already done with the one input, again you are giving one more input, so this will not accept. But how to load the data into this table from these two branches? Okay, to achieve that thing, what we do is just remove this connection. We will have one transformation called union null. Okay, union null transformation. So take that union null transformation and drag to your workspace, place that here and give the input to this union null transformation from branch 1 and give the input to branch 2 input to union null transformation. Okay, from union null transformation pass the output to employee table. Okay, now open this target table and look for the target table whether it is a proper table or not. Yes, this is what my table, and go to mappings. Yes, mappings are already done. Why these mappings are already done means, since the source names and the destination table name, destination column names both are same, that's why they got mapped automatically. Okay, in some cases if the table, if the columns from the target table are different from the source table, so in that case you need to check manually and map them manually, all the columns. Okay, how many columns are having, that many columns you need to map manually. It might be 100 or 200, irrespective of the number, you should check all the column names and map them manually. So likewise, you can create the package. Okay, so let me execute this one. I will execute. See here, 290 rows coming from employee branch 1, 290 rows coming to branch 2, and from union all it is giving 580 rows. Okay, so what here we are doing, what this union all will do, by seeing the symbol itself we will come to know that union all will take multiple inputs, okay, two inputs, and it will make that one as a one input. Let us see how it is doing. Double click on that. See, instead of that nothing is there, inside of the union all transformation nothing is there, just you can see, observe the names. This is what the output column name. Okay, so what the column, what the output column name you want to generate, and this is what the union all input 1, and this is the union all input 2. From input 1 you are getting business entity ID, and from input 2 you are getting business entity ID. Okay, if both are matched, I mean like it will take the input from both the columns and it will place in the output column name. Okay, it will create a column name like this. And similarly, login ID, it will create login ID column automatically and load the data into login ID. Job title it will take, and then it will create the job title column, output column, and then load the data into here. So likewise, it will create all the columns automatically, and then once you give the connection over here, it will load the data into this particular target table. Okay, save. Again, assume like you are having one more branch. So LDB source, place this. This is branch 3. Configure this. I will use the same source. Okay, or else don't confuse. I will create one more connection. So this one I will rename as branch 3. Click on OK. Get your table, employee, go to columns, pick the columns. Since I am selecting all the columns, I haven't done any modification over here. If you want to pick only selected columns, just uncheck this and select whatever the columns you need. Okay, in this example I am going to pick all the columns, that's why I am just keeping that as is. Click on OK. Okay, from here get the connection to union all transformation. Place that. If you see union all, see in that it's created one more input, third input. Okay, so likewise it will create it will take a number of inputs. Union all transformation will take union all, this will take multiple inputs at a time. Okay, let us execute this. See 290, 290, 290. Okay, so those rows, all the rows will come into union all transformation, and it will load the data into a target table. Stop this. Okay, so if you observe here, if I execute this again, the same data will come into target table, right? So whatever the branch 1 employee data you are having, the same data will come over here, again come over here, again this will come over here. So if you keep on executing this package multiple times, okay, whatever the data already existed in the database, I mean in the destination, okay, this again the same data will again append to the existing data. Okay, so let me truncate, connect to this database. connection databases. This is what the destination. Select the new query. Inside of this, employee target employee 29th June. This is what my table name. So let me truncate. Total how many number of rows you are having? 2600 rows. I will truncate the table first. So I have truncated the table. Okay, now the table is empty. The destination table is empty. Okay. So now what I will do is go here and I am executing the package now. So 870 rows has been populated, right? So go back and check your destination. You got the data 870 rows. Okay. So stop this. If I execute this package again, what it will do? It will get 870 rows from the source and then load the data into target. That means this 870 rows has been already existed, but again the same 870 rows are getting loaded. Okay, you should keep in mind one thing, right? In a database table or in a database table, you should not keep duplicate rows. Okay, you should not enter. Okay, you should not keep duplicate rows while loading. So in that case, every time what I have to do, again I have to go to the database and write a truncate statement and execute this. Once it is successfully completed, then come back to here and then I need to execute the package. This is a pretty much difficult, in real time. Every time you have to connect to the database, backend SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio, which is nothing but this one. Okay, SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio. So this is a pretty much hectic. So instead, we can keep the SQL statement what we are using to truncate the table. Okay, so you can keep this SQL statement in SSIS. That means before loading the package. See, this particular data flow task is loading the what we call target table, right? So before this particular loading, you can keep that SQL statement. How to keep that SQL statement means in control flow, you are having execute SQL task. Execute SQL task. Select that execute SQL task, drag to your workspace, place here. Okay, so open that. Instead of that, here you have to configure two things. One is I want to place my SQL statement, right? So where this SQL statement is, where I have to execute this one, I want to execute this particular SQL statement in this training database, which is existed in this particular server. That means this is what the connection that I use to truncate this particular table. That connection you have to specify here. Connection. First thing. So what is the connection? This is what the connection. And SQL statement. What the SQL statement that you want to operate? What the SQL statement? This is what my SQL statement that I want to execute. Just copy, place. Okay. Click on OK. And then OK. So if you keep two things like this, okay, there is no relation between these two things. Okay, do you have any relation? No relation. So these two, this is an individual task and this is an individual task. Okay, as of now I didn't specify, but what is your intention? Before loading the data, this truncate table should happen. Okay, to specify what is the first thing, truncate table, and what is the next thing, data loading. So to specify what should be execute first and what should be execute next, I have to give a relation between from here to here. Then only the system will understand. As a human being, like you have a sense, that's why you are executing this one first and then you are executing this one next. From here, how can you do that? I will execute this one, I will select this particular execute SQL task, right click and go to execute. If I click on execute, it will execute. What happened to this? Cannot find employee target. Oh, sorry. Open. This is there in target, right? Target training. Click on OK. Save this. Right click on the object. Go to execute task. So if I specify execute task on a particular task, it will execute. This happened successfully. Now stop the package and go to data flow task, right click on that and execute task. Now the data will load. Okay, so this is also somewhat hectic process. Why? Because every time I have to open the package. Okay, once after opening the package, if I have multiple tasks, since here I have two tasks, so I can feel like it's a simple thing. I can select the task and then execute. Once this is done, I will go here and I will execute this. So give you a proper name to this task. Name I will give like what here I am doing, truncate table employee 29, truncating the table here. Okay, give the proper name, then you can understand. Okay, so once after truncating table using this particular task, again I am coming over here and placing the cursor, right click on the task and then going to the execute task. So instead of this, if the system will do automatically execute these two things, then it will be pretty much good for me. So for that, what I will do is I will create a relation between these two tasks so that for one click these two tasks will execute. Okay, so how to create a relation means once you select the task, it will give you the green color arrow. Okay, take that arrow and place to the data flow task. That means you are saying like once this is successfully done, then come over here. Okay, you are saying like once this execution is successfully done, then come to here. You are saying how the system will understand successfully done. Okay, successfully done. How the system will understand means once you place the cursor, whatever the cursor, whatever the arrow mark you are getting, delete this. So this is what the arrow, right? So once you place the arrow, this arrow is nothing but the precedence constraint. We call that one as a precedence constraint. Okay, in precedent constraint, you are having three options. Using that precedence constraint, you will get three options. One is on success. Another one is on failure. Third one is on completion. Okay, on success means if the task is success. Okay, so if I keep a relation from here to here using this precedence constraint, this arrow mark we called as precedence constraint. Select the arrow and double click on that, you will get the options, different options. So evaluation option, operation constraint, the values will be three: success, failure, completion. Here what the operation that you have to select? cancel this. Here what is the option that you have to select? What is the option? On success. Why? Because once you truncate the table successfully, then only you have to come here. That means on successful execution, you have to come over here. So how to specify success means, out of these three things, get the success option. Okay, so the system will treat, now the system will treat as whenever this is executed successfully, then only it will come over here. Let us see, I will make this to failure. Okay, how the system will react. I will change the connection. Now what is the constraint I have specified? Once after executing this successfully, then only come over here. I will execute and let us see. See what happened? This got failed. The first task has been failed. That is why the system is not taking you to here. Okay, so let me stop. Now I will change this one as failure. Click on OK. So what the constraint that I am telling to the system, if this particular task failed, then only you come over here. Okay, if this particular task failed, then only you come over here. So I am telling the system. So to specify like that, select that failure option. Once you select the failure option, automatically the color of constraint has been changed to red color. Let us see how it will work. See, happened. The first thing failed. That's why it came over here and it's executed. Okay, stop this. The third constraint is on completion. On completion means the first is successful completion, the second one is failure completion, completed with failure. Okay, so on completion means it might be success or else it might be failure. The system will not bother about success or failure. System trying to execute this one, it failed. That means the execution completed. Okay, you asked me to execute that task and I executed. I am not sure whether it is success or failure. The system will treat like that. Okay, you asked me to execute. I have executed. Okay, and I will come over here. That means to specify like that, we go for completion. Okay, so once you change the constraint option, the automatically the RMR color also changed. Execute this one. See here, on completion, it's not bothering about the success completion or else failure completion. On completion you have specified. Let me make this one as success completion. On success also it is coming over here. On failure also it is coming over here as per the previous result. That means completion. Completion will not bother about the previous task. It's been failed or success. Okay. Altogether the system will treat that one as completion. That's it. Okay, so that is what the precedence constraint. See here what how we are loading. We are not touching each and every object. Simply we are doing start debugging. Automatically the system will execute the packages. Okay, so earlier what we did, we have selected each and every task and then executing manually one by one as per the order. But here once you specify the order over here, the system will take care of the execution. Once you click on the execution, the system will take care of the order of the execution. Why? Because we have specified the order already. Likewise we have to execute. Okay, so once you specify the order, the system will take care of the execution. Here in this package, like you are having only two tasks. This is what one task and this is what second task. So in one package, like you may have multiple tasks. Okay, so you will specify the relation between each and every task. Okay, so likewise each and every task you will specify the relation. Based on the relation it will execute. Okay, based on the relation in the sense, first which task should execute, second which task should execute. Let us say I have one more data flow task like this. Copy and paste. Okay, so and one more data task. Okay, and one more truncate. and one more truncate. If I have multiple tasks like this, so in that case what I will specify is, once this is completed, I will specify the system, come over here and make this one as a completion. I will execute this one also at a time parallelly, make this one as a completion. Okay, so once this is done, make this one as a success. Once after complete successful execution, come over here. Once after successful execution, come over here. So likewise, you can have a different flows. Okay, so let me. Okay, so in one package, you may have a different flows like this. Okay, so I will make this for your understand. I will make this one as a failure. Let's take a failure to have a different constraint. You will come to know how to use the different constraints. So execute this one. See, what happened is these two tasks executed successfully. After that, I have specified after executing this task, I have created two paths. One is failure. If it is failed, then come over here. If it is completed, then come over here. Okay, so now the system is treated whether this task is failed or not. This task has been not failed, so that's why the flow is not going over here. That's why these two are not executed. These two, I mean, this is completed successfully, but the system is not taking consideration whether it is failed or success. On completion, whether it is completed or not. Yes, this is completed. Then on completion, it is executing this thing, stopping. And if I make this one as success, click on OK, save this. See, now all the tasks executed perfectly. Okay, so likewise you can have a multiple tasks in one package. Okay, so it's pretty much difficult to select each and every task and executing. After that, so, okay, you need, and that you have to wait till that particular task needs to be completed, and then you have to come to the other task. Once that task is completed, then again you have to come to the other task. So likewise you have to wait for the task execution. Here, no need to wait. If you specify the relation and for one shot, you can execute all the tasks. Okay, so that is the use of precedence constraint. Precedence constraint. This in total SSIS relation, you will use this precedence constraint. Without precedence constraint, you won't have any SSIS packages. Okay, so this is what the important thing, precedence constraint. And one transformation we have discussed is union null transformation. This one also important. Okay, so likewise, you can load the data into your destination table using precedence constraint, and instead of that, what we have see today, we have loaded the data from multiple sources. Okay, how to load the data from multiple sources. So for each and every source, we have taken one source component, and using union all, we have loaded the data into destination. Why we take union all means, we are not supposed to take all the inputs, multiple inputs to a destination, okay, at a time. So for that, but our intention is we want to load the multiple branches data in a single package. So in that case, I have to take a union all transformation. So from union all, I am passing the data into my destination table. Okay, so that is what the usage of a union table. and tomorrow we will see some other transformations. Okay, so we will wrap up for today.